Hi, welcome to Vlogmas. Well, it looks like I have some more light at least. 7, right? Did we do 6? We did 6. So 7. Still shadowy? I'm sorry. Let's see what we got today. For the video, I think I'm going to do another request. There was a person who asked for me to talk about Hikikimori, which I am sure I am totally mispronouncing. Sorry about that. And how it applies to avoidant personality disorder, and vice versa. Another corner kept together. Whatever. That's cheating, by the way, to leave a puzzle like that. But me cheating? Anyway, so Hikikimori is a concept of primarily men, which, first of all, I think that's sexist, and I will talk about why. I think it's actually exclusively men who have what we call around here hold up at their parents' place and basically stay in their rooms and don't interact with anybody else. So I think that that's a touch of agoraphobia, which is not avoidant personality disorder, and which actually I think maybe I should make a video because I don't think I've done it somehow. I don't recall. I've done a lot of videos that talk about sort of the, because obviously these are different things. But it's just like, for example, with the difference between schizoid and avoidant personality disorder, or what is it? There's a type of narcissism. It's like not the grandiose, but the opposite kind. It's like not in my head right now. That they're like, that's exactly the same symptoms of avoidant personality disorder. Conceivably, first of all, inaccurate, but also they come from different areas. Like where, how it might look on the surface to be a certain thing. I mean, you could see a rock and a turtle and it would look the same from the outside, but from the inside they're very different. It's that sort of thing. So the reason why, first of all, the reason I think that it's sexist is, you could have a girl or a woman. Not only would it be totally acceptable, in a lot of places they still expect that girls stay home with their families, for maybe even years and years, until they're married off or whatever. And maybe that's some of the difference, is that people who are exhibiting Hikikimori, I don't even really know how to describe that. They don't have any intention of ever being married off, and they're not social. I mean, my understanding is that which is very, very poor. I'm telling you now. I am probably saying all the wrong things. But my understanding is that people with Hikikimori, men with Hikikimori, basically stay in their rooms and never leave. I don't know. I mean, especially after the pandemic, is that so uncommon now? I know that it can be massively depressing. If they can if they can do it, then hey, it might be an ideal for certain people. I'm not trying to dismiss it and say, try to make a lark of it. I mean, it might sound like that. That's not what I'm doing. Because it is a form of anxiety that's causing them to keep from leaving. But they can, so they do. I mean, it also is a sort of a part of economics that we have now, that it can be incredibly difficult to go off and find a place. This is facts. And so, a long time ago, intergenerational living was not that uncommon. I mean, I live in Maine, where we have the phenomena for real. They call it, I mean, you actually can go see it. It's big old farmhouses that they call them the little house, the big house, little house, back house, and barn. And in a nutshell, you also have a lot of split houses that, are not, they basically had a farmhouse, and then they have a second farmhouse right next to it that are identical and built together. And just massive families would live together. One, we would have massive families. My grandmother was the 13th of 16. And then on my father's side, it was 12. My grandmother was one of 12. That's what happens when you live in Maine. In the olden days, you would basically grow your farm hands. And families live together. And so maybe I'm the worst person to try to say anything about this, because I'm like, yeah, what, normal? I mean, not 100% wholly the most average normal, but I don't see that it's so abnormal, staying with your family like that. So maybe I'm not the right person to answer the question. Not like I'm always the person to answer every question about everything. Anyway. Weird. So on this side. Is it like this? Why are there two people wearing the same kind of... I don't know. I did not make these puzzles. And that's maybe? Anyway, let's just keep going, and I will realize when I've royally screwed it up that I screwed it up. So to continue talking about sort of the difference and the similarity of Hikikimori. And again, I'm really sorry. I'm probably totally misstating it as far as how it's pronounced in a horrible way. And I don't mean to. I just do not speak Japanese. Because, of course, that's where I'm saying, of course, like everybody should know this. Can you tell that I'm really second guessing everything I'm saying right now? And I'm also having a really bad time with doing this puzzle. Oh, sad. Very sad. It seems like, as a cultural phenomenon, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not an expert, and it could be that it is a much more disruptive, that's not correct, sort of thing that's happening there. That's not correct either. And so that it actually really is a problem culturally for people. I mean, I would imagine that financially it would be a problem, but, and again, I'm going to keep saying it, I don't think that I'm the sort of the best person to talk about it, but I mean, I just, in my family, it's, I guess, normal to have people that need extra help. You would think that I would take advantage of that. But on the contrary, and if you knew some of the things, like especially what I went through a year and a half ago, where it never even dawned on me to ask family for help, and I just went through some awful things. I don't know. I mean, I think that people have sort of different how would I put it? Kind of levels of, I don't want to say ability, I don't want to say desire, but kind of, as far as getting out into the world and doing things. And, you know, people have different sort of levels of ambition. So, and I think that's okay. You know, if you are, you know, don't have the you know, you just don't want to. I mean, the thing is that if that's what it appears to be, is and I keep trying to say, hey, I'm not doing this correctly, because I'm not doing this correctly. I don't know, but it appears that people are just, they don't want to. Okay, that's fine. If you know, you've got a family who you can rely on like that, who could help you out, and then why would you not want to do that? So then what does that have to do with people that have avoidant personality disorder? Well, first of all, there are different types. The type who can be with your family and the type that can't. I'm the type that it's something I can't be with my family. But it's not the best if I'm with my family. You know, I don't have anywhere near an ideal sort of, you know, family story. So there's that. For me, the idea of being effectively stuck, this can't be right, with my family is like beyond torture. And I know that's really sort of sounding exaggerating and all that stuff, but I just, it didn't work for me. Let's put it that way. It really did not work for me, being with my family, and I can't depend on them, and that is just a fact. So it is sort of like me talking about something I have absolutely no experience with whatsoever, to talk about a family that I could depend on in any way, shape, or form. That's just absolutely foreign to me. So, then what I think about the intersection of avoidance and Hikikimori, I think it's another case, like, for example, a lot of people who do, they Google their symptoms, will come up with something that sounds very much like they have, oh, maybe I have this thing, avoidant personality disorder, when in fact they just have classic depression, and the avoidance is not actually avoidant personality disorder, but they're depressed. And it is very possible that that is part of what is going on, and that's why people might think that there's an intersection when there isn't. Because in my gut response, I've not seen anything about it at all. I've never, ever seen the two brought together in any sort of clinical. But again, it's a Japanese concept specific to the country. And so it, I live in the United States, and we have a different set of priorities, effectively. Oh, I think one of these is wrong. I don't think that it is anywhere near that level here, and I think it might become that level that we'd start seeing them. But I really do think that it would be more agoraphobic than avoidant personality disorder, because see, the avoidant personality disorder, people, it actually was part of the diagnostic criteria that they were underemployed. It is actually not part of the criteria anymore. But Hikikimori people, unless they're doing things online, they're not employed at all. They're being supported by their family 100%. The people with avoidant personality disorder want to have relationships. There's an underlying desire for them. That's the difference between that and a schizoid, for example. Hikikimori, from my understanding, they just want to be in their room and be left alone and being taken care of, and just, no, they don't sit and dwell about, from what, again, limited understanding and language and cultural sort of differences there. They don't pine for friendships and relationships, romantic relationships. They don't wish that they could have them, that they we're worthy of having them. That they don't go, oh, well, I made my bed and I lie in it. And, I can't get anything better because I'm not worthy of anything better. Um, they're kind of miserable because, people are social creatures. But they want to be in the rooms by themselves. Again, I could be completely wrong, but that's what the impression is from the outside, and having very limited information is that's the difference. And that's why I would say my gut is Hikikimori is more of closer aligned to an extreme form of agoraphobia than avoidant personality disorder. And avoidant personality disorder is not necessarily agoraphobic. There's like about half, maybe more than half, of people with avoidant personality disorder are only comfortable around family members and people that they've already known. But there is a significant amount that are only comfortable around people they don't know at all. And they can only feel like they're themselves around people who are complete strangers and they'll never see them again. And then suddenly the fear of judgment is like, who cares if they judge me? I'll never see them again. It dissipates quickly, as opposed to being around family members who remember everything and bring it up all the time. And, oh, I haven't seen you for 2 years. Are you still doing whatever dumb thing you did on that one day they saw you 2 years ago? I mean, that's horrible to somebody like me. And that's why it's so hard for me to really completely relate to the people who want to be with their family. I'm like, oh my God, that's torture. I'm like, that would be a prison for me. So, for me to be stuck, and maybe that's it. Maybe they're stuck in there because they don't want to open that door, because as soon as they leave, they're going to be judged by these people, and they've got to get through these people who judge them in order to get out into the world. And it would be better to stay inside and do nothing and hide, rather than deal with the people who are going to judge them when they open the door. That's possible. Yeah, but that's my gut response. My gut response is it's not avoidant personality disorder. It's different. Yeah, avoidant personality disorder, believe it or not, is really about interacting with people and not being able to interact with people in a way that's satisfying. Let's call it that. Just being incapable of doing what you want. That sounds bad, but seriously, like even talking to people, being friendly with people. I like my coworkers know so much crap about what's going on in my life. It's not even funny, because I don't consider them friends at all. They're coworkers. Yeah, they know the basics of what is going on in my life. They know my schedule. They know a lot. Because they know what I'm doing, and they know my schedule because it affects when I'm working and when I'm available to work. They know things about my health because it affects my ability to work. I bet they think that they consider that, I bet they see other people perceive me. I was told, I couldn't believe it. I was told that I have such a pleasant personality. I was like, what? You don't know me? I saw this sign. It was incredible. I was like, oh my God, I could never relate to anything better in my life. It was a restaurant, but it said something like, I didn't fake this whole personality just for you to not tip me. And I'm like, yes, that's me. when I go out into the world. It is a complete mask. It is a total fake. Um, and so like my coworkers, they think they know all kinds of stuff about me. They don't. They probably know me better than I think, because you can't really hide everything, but no, I don't consider them friends because they're my coworkers. That sort of thing. I don't have friends. You know, I don't have any of my coworkers' phone numbers except my boss, whom I have her phone number in case I have to call in and not work that day. Other than that, I don't have their phone numbers. They're not my friends. You know, um, and that's very avoidant. To not have anything other than very superficial relationships. Hikikimori, from what I can tell, they don't want any relationship with anybody. They very much want to hole up and be in their little thing. I mean, again, I would say less avoidant if you had to have a personality disorder, that it would be schizoid, because schizoid, they don't want the relationships at all. They sort of loathe it. They loathe that they have to have any kind of thing happening in their life. So yeah, so if you're really trying to see, if you think you're trying to relate in one way or the other, I would say first agoraphobic, second maybe schizoid personality disorder, but not avoidant personality disorder. And again, that is just my opinion. And every once in a while, somebody gets on here. I'm sorry, I don't want to like put the person who requested this on blast by any means, but I have had people, like, especially they're like, what is it, avoidant attachment disorder. It's not a disorder, attachment style, avoidant attachment style. And they're like, oh yeah, well it's this. And I'm like looking through it and I'm like, well, if you actually look at these categories, no, avoidant attachment is definitely not avoidant personality disorder, and they don't align like that. And if you have the one, then looking up stuff for, if you have avoidant attachment, looking up stuff for avoidant personality disorder is not going to help you at all. And the person lost their cool, let's call it that, because I said something different from what they wanted to hear. I'm really hoping I'm not going to get a reaction to this video, because one, I said it 16 times, this is not something that I'm super, I'm like aware that this thing exists, but I haven't done much research on it other than that, other than to know what it is in general terms. And seeing it from the outside, again, just like you can look at a turtle and you can look at a rock and they can look kind of similar. So I'm just looking at it from the outside. I don't know really what's going on in the inside and what it's really all about. So I could have said just completely the worst garbage that doesn't apply at all. And I'm sorry if I did. But that's why I would say, knowing the little that I know, more about avoidant personality disorder and just super superficial about Hikikimori. That's my gut. My gut reaction is not avoidant, maybe schizoid, probably some sort of agoraphobia. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.